all your friends.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jacoby.
Hello, Miss Rachel. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I am good. It has been an odd week. It was. I was in Los Gatos on Wednesday, and it was 99 degrees.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was hot.
Yeah.
It was hot at my house, too.
Well, I was sweating like P. Daddy at a paternity hearing.
P. Daddy.
I mean, it was.
Almost got it.
I was close.
You were so close.
I'm so close to being culturally hip, aren't I?
P. Daddy. You were so close. It was good, though. It was really funny.
That was funny.
It was funny that when you said it right the first time.
Well, it did. Well,
it was funnier. But it was very funny this time, too.
No.
Don't you worry.
I was going to say Trump at a deposition, but I have a friend of mine here that wasn't going to do that in front of. So, anyway, welcome to Raising the Standards. Delighted to have your folks with us today. Did you watch it? Did you watch the Seinfeld thing yet?
No.
Oh, you got to see it. It is very funny.
What's it called again?
It's called Unfrosted.
Okay, Unfrosted.
And it's all about Did you love it? Yeah. I thought
loved it.
It's about the invention of the Pop-Tart. And, and it is really cute. I've got a good show today. It has been one of those weeks, and rightfully so, that it's a bit of a sacred anniversary, the 80th anniversary of D-Day. Did you see many of the films of the president over there, and actually all the presidents and the French president? And,
gosh, I saw some really interesting things on social media the last few days. Like in the airports when they were pushing all of the veterans
wonderful.
through. I cry everything I've seen. I just cry and cry and cry. But then there was another one. This guy, I want to say he was like 93 years old, and he did a jump.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, to commemorate like his jump that he did, however many years ago.
Well, I guess there's like 200 vets left from D-Day.
That's amazing.
Or as was it Jimmy Fallon who said, standing next to one of those guys is the only way to make Biden look young, which I thought was a great line.
Just incredible.
Anyway, it was indeed a sacred week, and the timing works out for us here because we've been talking about our friends at the Veteran Transition Center, and that we're doing a celebration of freedom on July 4th, cleverly enough.
I love.
Yeah, who'd have thought? At Rancho Cielo, and it is going to be a marvelous day. We're going to talk about that in detail. With us in the studio, we're delighted to welcome them. Lisa Kincaid, Development Director of the Veterans Transition Center. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, you've got that great voice.
Thank you so much.
Normally that's $3.50 a minute,
She's
to
good.
call that. Hi.
She is good.
And a veteran with us, Ed Spoon. Hey, Ed, how are you?
I'm well, and you?
Well, I am well. Two things. One, thank you for your service. And two, again, how are you doing? You doing well?
I'm highly blessed and mostly favored.
Yes, God bless you for that.
Doing wonderful.
Good for you.
Life is good today. I'm very grateful for life itself.
You sound like me. I always preface with, today's good. I'm not sure when the other shoe's going to drop,
right.
And maybe it won't, but it's a good day, and it's a great day to have you guys here in the studio. First, Lisa, tell us, first, you've got, Rachel, you're veterans have always been a part of your life in the person of your uncle.
Oh yeah, my uncle was a big Well, all my uncles served in World War II actually.
Yeah.
My uncle Vince, he was of age and he went and he was and he served. But then my uncle Joe was young and he went to follow his brother essentially, but I don't know how it worked. If he was underage though, he had to finagle a little bit to get in there. So yeah.
Well, it's interesting because when I'm in New Orleans, I know the director of several of the people at the World War II Museum, and I will give my usual shout out. If you have not been there, it is one of the great experiences of your life. If you get to New Orleans, you've got to see it. But and I was talking to my buddy. He says, World War II veterans get in free, and I said, that's got to be real time. He says, no, you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I said, how many do you get? And he says, no, it's, and we figured you've got to be at least, I think, 92 to have, it had been in World War II and still be alive. But, so at least.
Probably before you hit Bourbon Street. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
To make it the most meaningful and impactful in your life.
That's a story for another show, indeed. Lisa, tell me about the Veterans Transition Center. Then we'll talk to Ed about the transition, what they do for him and have done for him. But tell me a little bit of the background of the organization.
So the Veterans Transition Center of California is located at the old Fort Ord headquarters. So there's actually a little prison room downstairs next to the war room, believe it or not, underneath my office.
It was like a brig?
That's where they planned all kinds of strategies and things like that during the when Fort Ord was live, an Army base there. Yeah. That's when the bars were really fun in Monterey, in downtown Monterey, when the military was here. But anyway, so the Veterans Transition Center started about 25 years ago, when our founding president was really noticing a lot of homeless people on the streets. And when he started to get to know them, he realized that they were, comrades almost, really. A lot of them were veterans. So he started to help them with clothing and food and started this organization. So now we house over 100 vets. And we are building an apartment complex for permanent supportive housing that's just down the street from our current housing area. We serve about 300 a day for food that are just veterans in our program, which that will be expanding as we grow. So it's amazing to see every day someone come into our building that needs help, whether it be clothing, whether it be food, whether it be housing, whether it be, substance abuse counseling. Sorry. We provide any veteran that was in for 1 day or more.
Okay.
Anything that they need, we're there for them. It's an amazing organization. I love it. It's an amazing experience for me. My brother was in the Marine Corps for 8 years, and it's very personal for me. But also, when we talk about service, it's just so important to be able to look at each other and say, hey, we can help you. If you want the help, we can help you. So we also help incarcerated veterans.
Right, and you work with folks down at Soledad, right?
Yep, Soledad and San Quentin as well. So there is a separate yard at Soledad. We were the first in the country to start this program. So if you're a veteran and you qualify for our program, they put you in a separate yard in Soledad. You get a case manager who meets with you once or twice a week. And then when you get out of the program, we pick them up, we take them to the beach, we take them to breakfast, and then they sign a contract with us saying, yes, I want to continue this program with the VTC. And they're with us for an average of about 8 months. And then we've had 0 recidivism.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Which is really powerful.
Well, it's become, although I think correct, but it's become a bit hackneyed to always say thank you for your service. And I think it should be said, but I think it should be also realized that life has gone on after the uniform has come off, that there's another world, and people have a tendency to go, "Hey, thanks for what you did. See you later." Go, wait a minute, how am I doing now, or how's my life going now, and how can you help? That having been said, Ed Spoon, you tell me a little bit about your background, Army.
No, I was in the best. I was in the best branch of the service.
Okay, I'm not even going to guess.
I was in the Navy.
You were in the Navy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a Navy guy.
Post Vietnam?
I served during the Cold War.
Okay.
I did not see combat.
Okay.
I did lose a couple fellows while I was in during an exercise.
So what years are we talking?
We're talking 79, early 80s. Right. And I was Naval Amphibious Space Coronado, AC-1, 17, so I was the 17th boat of Assault Craft Unit 1. So very much like D-Day, the floating bombs with the ramps that come down and the Marines run off. We either had 450 Marines, thereabouts, I think maybe less. I think my numbers are off. Or 2 tanks. And they would just roll off. The ramp would go down, and they'd roll off. We did a lot of exercises, and that was it. Didn't see combat. I was 18, 19 years old when I went in, and I was gung ho for it. My family life wasn't the greatest, so I joined the military. And that was quite a wonderful experience.
It was post-draft, so you chose.
Oh, yeah, I chose. Yeah. I definitely chose. They wanted me to go submarine, and I said, I can swim. I don't think I can hold my breath that
long. I'm a bit claustrophobic. There's no way in the world.
Yeah, and I'm 6'3". I don't think submarines are built for...
How's half of that berth fit you? Is that all right?
Yeah.
So you were in San Diego primarily, right?
You know what? I grew up in La Jolla and San Diego. I went to boot camp in San Diego. I wanted to travel, and they said, "Yeah, you're going to travel." And guess where they stationed me?
Yeah, you're going to travel a couple of blocks.
Yeah. Around the block you go.
Yeah.
But what happened for me is I got out of the military. I got out of the Navy, and I was just alone. And I didn't know I had benefits. And when I got out, I had some problems, emotional, mental, substance abuse, alcoholism. Just I didn't have the wherewithal to take care of myself, and I survived on the street for off and on for a good 30 years.
Yeah.
Until some Veterans Administration workers found me on some railroad tracks in Santa Cruz, and I had my cardboard, I had my little spot, and they said that I could get help if I wanted it, and I've been pretty much in since then. Not being a vet myself, I would think that coming off, I'm assuming you were in 4 years. Yeah.
So coming off 4 years of here's what you do, here's when you get up, and then all of a sudden being cut loose. Right. And, that's got to be a challenge.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. For sure, 100%. Yeah. That checks out.
How about, did you feel that when you left the service, it was a hearty hand clasp and see you later, or was there anything, did the Navy step forward and say, where are you going to go from here, young man?
I don't even think it was a handshake and a see you later.
You didn't even get the calendar.
No. It's and I was discharged with honorable conditions, honorable discharge, honorable conditions. Yet to this day, no one's ever really reached out to me in that sense from back then. There were some of my comrades that I would love to get in touch with. I really have. Now,
is there a network? I mean, can you find people through, like, if you're looking for a buddy? Like, the obvious choice is Google. But I mean, can you find people through the veterans or anything? You don't know.
Great question, and that just put a spark.
Yeah.
Lit a fire underneath me, and
it's a great idea to start a registry.
Thank you for that. Thank you very much for that.
No problem.
There's one gentleman, Terry Wise, seemed to be one of the wisest guys on our boat. We were a small boat, 86 feet, 9-man crew.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, you're 6'3".
No.
Okay, so you go through some. I'm being casual saying you go through some tough times. You go through some tough decades, and
yes.
And been there and done that. The lost feeling, and kind of which direction do you point yourself in, if any? And sometimes you don't go any direction; you just sit down. When did it hit you? Did someone finding you to help you, or were you actively looking for help? Or had you? I hate the phrase "hit bottom," but had you said, "This is enough of this crap"?
Great question, which leads...
God, I love this guy, Rachel.
Which leads me into the fact that I'm a knucklehead.
Yeah.
And, I have had help. I knew what the answers for me would be. I got help, and then I would run away from the help. And then I would do that. I would play that game, or I wasn't really playing, but I just would, okay, I need help again. And, and that happened several times. What happened for me this last time, I was in my dereliction and my substance abuse, my alcoholism, and I was deep in it, and it was horrible. It was a nightmare. I believe it was a living hell. My life was just utterly not well. And I had been at the VTC before, and I left on good terms, but I ended up in my addiction again. And this last time in 2020, I got in touch with VTC. I asked them for help. Dan Scott let me in, and I haven't been back to my old ways since.
Yeah.
And so that's coming up on 4 years now. I haven't done any of my old behaviors at all. In fact, I'm working on a lot of stuff, a lot of healing.
Well, one of the great misconceptions is, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, is that, and it's true at the beginning, you want to drink and you want to get high, but there reaches a point where I don't want to do this, yet here I am.
Right. Yeah, it's been a great journey this time. I kind of run my life in a spiritual sense. I'm in a spiritual program that is just fantastic. Went out to dinner last night with about 15 of us guys. We're all sitting around drinking water.
Well, and camaraderie is so important from a survival standpoint in the services. It continues to be important with this camaraderie to keep you in a healthy lifestyle and to keep you, with your mates. That having been said, thank you for sharing that, Ed. Lisa, what kind of support does the Veterans Administration, the government? It always bothers me that private groups have to do this on their own when the government should be stepping up and helping out and taking care of this. I mean, wounded veterans or wounded warriors, I think that's marvelous. But on the other hand, what the hell are they having to do? This shouldn't be a situation. Yeah. Talk about your relationship with the government.
The Veterans Transition Center would not really exist without some help from the Veterans Association.
Right.
So the government does provide per diem.
Okay.
We build the house, we put the furniture in, we get the beds, and then they give us a certain amount per veteran.
But you started as an independent group.
As a nonprofit.
As a nonprofit,
exactly.
But it had nothing to do with the Veterans Administration.
Correct.
Okay.
It was just, these are my buddies. These are partner veterans, and I can't stand to see them on the street like this in a hopeless situation.
Yeah.
One of the things that I can say that the VTC does is that we take the veterans to the VA, which is just across the street, so that they can be aware of what their benefits are. I think that sometimes it's very confusing, very overwhelming, and the veterans are not aware of what might be available to them. medical, dental, whatever it is. So it's really an open door to sort of weed through the mess of the paperwork, the red tape, or whatever it takes to get them really plugged into what not only do they deserve, but what's available to them. So that's amazing. I do appreciate it.
Finding out what benefits are available to veterans and how to access them is akin to having a cell phone to me and going, oh, this does more than make phone calls?
Exactly.
I had no idea there was dental. Exactly. What? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So how do you have people on the street looking for people on the street? I mean, how does...
We do.
Okay.
We do. We call them ambassadors, of course.
Bounty hunters
and
would have been
I'll
rude.
be honest with you, the people that are on the street, the community is quite small, so the word gets out.
Yeah.
And so they go out. Some people want help, some people don't want help, but we don't forget about them. We go back out there and check in with them, which is amazing. And I do have to say that the team at VTC has been really amazing for me to get to know personally, because they all have such a heart for service, which kind of brings me to the Rancho Cielo thing. We're having a 4th of July event. But it's really kind of combining and connecting with people in our community that really care about serving our community and serving each other. So it's a powerful thing. I love being a part of it.
Go ahead, please.
That's kind of one of the things too, is you're already, as someone who is a veteran is typically already somebody who is, they pick themselves up and they go out and they serve others. Mm-hmm. So I think sometimes, and I saw this a lot in my uncle and just in his personality, he never thought that he was someone who even deserved help, kind of thing. Like, he just was very, you're dealing with a kind of a mindset of people that are very stoic. And so they tend to just keep going in whatever situation they're in, and they don't ask for help. So I think that your service going out and actually
absolutely
trying to, hey, we're here for you.
And not only
let
that,
us help you.
And really letting them know that they deserve it.
Absolutely.
That's so powerful.
If anybody does, they do.
All the programs that the VTC offers helps bring them to a level of success that they probably never dreamed of,
And I would think it's important that when you came into contact and continue to be in contact with those folks, is that you're treated with respect. And it's it's a hand up, not a hand out.
Wholeheartedly, very much so. I first experienced them coming into a soup kitchen, and that's where I saw a group of, as they said, ambassadors,
right.
These veteran administration workers. I think they were either paid by the county or the Veterans Administration. I'm not sure, but they'd say, "Are you a veteran?" We're here at the soup kitchen. I'm eating lunch, and that's how it started. That's how the journey started for me, and then they sent me to a VSO, which is a Veteran Service Officer, that helped me get some paperwork started so that I could get the benefits that I truly needed. And tears are welcome.
Oh, I was just going to say, Lisa's getting all flicklipped over here.
I always do. Leave it up to me.
We're talking to Ed Spoon, a proud veteran, and proud to have him here in the studio. Lisa Kincaid, the Development Director of Veterans Transition Center of California. And you are listening to Raising the Standards, radio's finest hour. We're back on Radio Internet's finest hour.
I know. What are we doing? Are we playing a song?
What do we? We don't have. I didn't have. We'll wait. I don't know. I'm so used to saying.
You're going somewhere.
I
got my card compromised the other day, and they called me. They said, "Okay, so we have charges from Ticketmaster, not me, and then we have 4 Uber charges pending and 1 Lyft." And I said, "Well, it's not me, but I kind of do like the idea of letting this poor person go to a concert. Yeah. They're obviously trying to go to something.
At least
they're not driving themselves there, so that's good.
I kind of like the idea of letting them do it.
At least you know where they've been and where they're going.
Yeah, there was part of me that wanted to be like, just shut it down after those charges go through. Let's let them go to the concert.
Well, speaking of where folks have been and where they're going, if you've been home thinking about doing something to pay tribute to the vets of whom we speak and to the country, regardless of whatever jokes I'm making politically. We're all proud to be Americans here. A celebration of freedom. My buddy Lisa and I, we kind of put this together. Because I'm the executive producer of Jazz at the Ranch, and we talked about doing something. And our dear friend Chris Devers, the CEO, said, we should do something with the vets. I said, absolutely, and we came up with a celebration of freedom. Now, talk about this. It's going to be a pretty extraordinary day. It's July 4th, 1 to 8 p.m. at Rancho Cielo, and then the amphitheater. There's going to be a private flyby by the great Sean Tucker, the aerobatic aviator. Now, it's a private flyby, which means you better not be looking if you haven't bought a ticket. We will come out and close your eyes. We'll put a hand over your eyes. No drive-bys. And we're going to tell you what's going to happen there. I will tell you it's $100 a ticket, right? Mm-hmm. That includes food, that's a great deal.
We're going to have an amazing barbecue.
And we've got Casey Frazier. We've got your group, Wild at Heart, which I'm looking forward to see. And we've got Rachel, our dear friend, Carolyn Sills. This group out there. So it's going to be a terrific show. Who else is coming out? Did I hear Congressman Panetta?
Yes, you did. We've got Congressman Jimmy Panetta coming, and he will be speaking. He's our keynote speaker, actually. So we're excited that he's going to join us. He actually has a history with VTC, actually. He used to be on our board. So he really cares a lot about veterans, and he will be helping us celebrate. It's going to be an extraordinary day.
I hope he's listening to the show. He's going to go, what? What am I doing? That's a presumptive close if I've ever heard one. Now, the kids are free, right?
12 and under is free. And just to let everyone know that, and this is coming from my heart, it's a fundraiser. It's a celebration of freedom. But the bottom line is the proceeds from this event will go directly to veterans. It will go to our programs at the Veterans Transition Center, which includes case management, substance abuse counseling, anger management, job placement, and the list goes on. So it's really, we want to extend our thank you ahead of time because the need continues to grow, so we need to keep growing. So I hope you can join us. You can buy a ticket at vtcofcalifornia.org.
vtcofcalifornia.org. And there's a place where traditions begin. I mean, as much as we love our friend Colleen Bailey at the Monterey Jazz Festival, and this is their 66th year. Well, there was the first year.
There was.
Jazz at the Ranch. We had a first year last year. This is our second year.
Right? Is that inaugural?
Right. But this is the beginning of a great tradition here on the peninsula. With this celebration of freedom, and I can't think of a better way to do it. And the nice thing is, if you say, well, I want to go see the fireworks. Well, we're done at 8.
That's right.
You can go over there and check out the fireworks. Talk about your staff. How many people have you got on your staff, and how is that broken down?
At the Veterans Transition Center, we have, I believe, 52 people. And the fastest growing departments are the case management because the need continues to grow. When people come in our doors, we want to make sure that they have someone that will take them in right away and identify what their needs are and get them on a road to success. That's our goal.
That seems like a really good approach to it too, because you do want this to be kind of a no muss, no fuss. Come on in, let's just let's rock and roll kind of thing. And I think also throwing these events and getting people out there, because people really want to support for sure. It's such a good example to show the veterans who maybe don't feel like they deserve help. Hey, all these people really, really, really want to help you, and it's going to make them feel really good if you participate and let them help you.
Of course, and I have to say that I've only been with the Veterans Transition Center since last November, and there's still a lot of people in the community that don't know about us. So that's really exciting to me to not only put on these fundraising events, but really getting our name out there so that people can see if they want to get plugged in, if they want to support our local veterans and be involved in some way. we really appreciate it.
Now, I know you mentioned you're building new housing. Everything has a finite number, but are you full now of vets staying?
We are actually full, correct. Yeah.
And you're also doing, and so you're adding, and when will the new area be ready?
Light Fighter Village, which is at the end of Hayes Circle, and our homes are on Hayes Circle. They used to be old military houses, and we transformed them into duplexes. And then at the end of that street is called Light Fighter Village, and it is a 75-unit apartment complex for permanent supportive housing. So
with families.
One building is for families, the other building is for veterans, and it will be able to provide housing for elderly and also physically challenged veterans that require some additional help getting to and from their apartment. So, exciting things are happening. That's opening up in February 2025, Good. So it's really exciting.
And you're doing a kennel thing, right?
We hope to.
Yeah, that's your plan.
Yeah, we
well,
hope
that's too late now. I just announced it.
You know, our that's one of the things that's on the burner right now is being able to open up a dog kennel. We do have veterans that have been training.
They've been training to work with dogs.
Service dogs.
Yes,
service dogs.
Thank you, service dogs. So,
I love those programs.
So what they do is
much.
that program starts while they're in prison, and then usually when they get out and come into our program, they get to keep their dog.
Oh, that's neat.
And to be honest with you, we're one of the few programs that allows pets and families as well.
So big.
I frankly think there's, and I know people are professional and they train dogs and they understand it, but I couldn't do that. I couldn't train a dog, bond with it, and they'll go, okay.
No way.
We're taking him away now.
Oh,
I could not do that.
Well, and that's why a lot of people don't go seek help and don't participate in some of the homeless service programs because they can't bring their dog.
Yeah.
So that's
very true.
Open that up. I mean, that's amazing.
I have to give a shout out to Wiley's Wish out of San Jose. They actually spearhead the program with the veterans inside. So it's amazing.
Great.
Yeah. And we had our friend Marlo from Unchained,
so cool.
which they work with young people training dogs for adoption. You alluded to the fact earlier about the Fort Ord being gone, and I was at Canby Y in those days in '93 when Fort Ord closed, and it wasn't the time to have a condom and chewing tobacco store because that was over once everybody left, once the Fort Ord closed. Yeah. But boy, what a change! And all of a sudden, it was a ghost town. And I'm so delighted you guys have made, such a great use of it. Ed, I bet, we talk about who do you want to be in a foxhole with. I think that metaphor follows that I bet there are a lot of veterans who, while they're being helped, are passing it along.
Yes. You mean like
working with other vets? Yeah,
like me being of service in my community and with other vets. Right. That's not just a cornerstone of my life. That's pretty much my life. Yeah. I'm of service in my community in several different ways, and I really wouldn't trade it for the way. I'm not going to say anything makes me happy, but I'm happy doing it. And
that's an interesting way to phrase it. That's good.
And it's like a constant. Yeah. I kind of have a permagrin, if you will, on my face, and people can see it, and I can see it now. And it's because of VTC. I'll be honest. It's not really because of me. It's because VTC helped me to believe in me again. It gave me a safe place to stay. It took me a couple months to just feel comfortable enough in my skin to say, okay, now what? Now what can I do? What's my purpose in my life?
Real smiles are within, and they come out.
Oh,
and do you find yourself smiling inside now?
Yeah, all the time.
That's great.
In fact, I was just over on the point, and I was buying a shot of ginger and a surf hat for a friend of mine has a young kid that just got diagnosed with leukemia and is getting chemotherapy, so we're supporting that. But there's just you can walk around your neighborhood and you can, you can be part of the community in so many different ways.
You're rocking the old surfer look. Did you did you surf as a kid?
I did. Yeah. I surfed every day I could. Yeah. Even when there was no waves, we'd go out.
I was going to say, even when we weren't at the water. Wow, that's weird.
When we're just going to go out and get wet. So we'd say we'd go out and get wet. Yeah, but I still love the water. I like to body surf. I'm 64 now, so shoulder issues and whatnot. A little arthritis. So I pretty much just swim around.
That's the thing. It changes. It evolves.
You guys stick around for a couple of minutes. We've got we have a feature that we do called Weekend Liner Notes. We're going to play a little piece of music, and then we're going to come back and kind of wrap up and talk more about how to get the tickets. Today, a tune by a fellow I've had the pleasure of knowing for the past 20 years. I booked Houston Person several times at Jazz at the Plaza, seen him multiple times in New York, and interviewed him here on Raising the Standards. Good guy, and a terrific tenor player. To call him prolific is a bit of an understatement. 79 recordings, and at 80 years old, he continues to tour, bringing great jazz to large and small venues. The tune That's All, written in 1952 by Alan Brandt and Dick Haymes, was first recorded by Nat Cole a year later. The most notable version was by Bobby Darin in 1959 from the LP of the same title. I can only give you love that lasts forever, and a promise to be near each time you call. And the heart I own for you and you alone, that's all. That's all. This performance at Birdland a couple of years ago with Joe Alderman on piano was both sweet and touching. It not only features two fine players, it really captures the intimacy of seeing a performance at a small club, and there is nothing like it. I can only give you country walks in springtime and a hand to hold when leaves begin to fall, and a love whose burning light will warm the winter night. That's all. That's all. Enjoy. That's a live recording of That's All. Actually, I gave credit to Bobby Darin, rightfully so, but Mel Torme does a marvelous version of that tune, and that's the great Houston Person. Wrapping up our conversation with veteran Ed Spoon and Flaklempt Crier over here, Lisa Kincaid, the development director of development. Did I get that in the right order?
Yes, that's
fine. I did that. She has her business card on an Etch-a-Sketch, so we can just change it by shaking it, of the Veterans Transition Center of California. So, all right, bucket list time, guys. I mean, you think about it for a second, Ed. I'm going to talk to you in a second. Bucket list for you guys over at the Transition Center. What do you want to get done the next short term, next 2 or 3 years?
Wow, that's a loaded question there, sir.
Nobody said it'd be easy.
I would like to see our awareness in the community of what we can offer vets go up by 100%. I mean, that would be my dream. And also help with funding for the next project that we're building another apartment complex. We're working very closely with CSUMB on a piece of property there that we're sharing. And so I'm really hoping that people will decide that they'd like to support financially as well. But also I would love to see more people come by and just see what we do, meet the case managers, and just sort of, check out our organization and how it's really impacting our community.
And that's such a big thing, an act of faith to come look at what you're doing. I mean, we get this at Rancho Cielo all the time. I mean, and I'm sure you guys get like, oh, wow, I didn't realize you guys do all this. Exactly. Yeah, what do you think we've been saying all these years? But it's nice that people see what's going on, and you say you want to be 100% supportive of vets. I would like to see 100% more things available to the vets, whether it be housing or the possibility of the dogs or whatever. Ed, I know, like many of us, we live day to day, but have you got like a bucket list?
Well,
you obviously have goals.
Yes, I do. Number one was getting housed, and I've been housed since I left VTC. I'm in permanent housing.
You can stay there as long as you want.
I'm paying my rent, and sometimes I work for the landlords. I do a little painting. I'm a house painter. I like to do art too, painting. But my bucket list, I think on my bucket list is helping hospitals, institutions, and especially the destitute out on the street that are lost and they're stuck in their ways, if you will. I think that I can relate and help and hopefully give hope to somebody. Say, hey, look, this is where I came from. Do you want me to help you a little bit, point you in the right direction? You can't help those that don't want to help themselves, but you can plant the seed.
Yeah. And that's a cruel reality, but there are people that don't want to help themselves.
Right.
That's just, it's part of the equation.
And, that kind of sums up our industry that I'm in right now at the Veterans Transition Center, is that we provide hope.
Yeah.
Which is really tangible if you make it out to be.
And in a few short weeks, shorter than Lisa and I can imagine, we'll be providing a wonderful day of entertainment, of food, of marvelous music with Casey Fraser, with Wild at Heart, your group, and with Carolyn Sills on the 4th of July, a celebration of freedom at Rancho Cielo, which I've said this and believe it in my heart, having been around this. It's the most comfortable, most intimate, most welcoming outdoor venue in Northern California. It is 300 seats, and it's remarkable sound, and it's great.
And we're super grateful for Chris Devers out there at Rancho Cielo for not only providing the venue, but supplying us with
Sean Tucker.
Sean Tucker. If you're into acrobatic flying, it's going to be quite a show.
And keep in mind, it's a private flyover, so you're going to have to wear a blindfold if you're
drive-bys.
And you're going to do tri-tip and chicken. You do
tri-tip, chicken.
And that's included. It's $100.
It's included.
All the money goes to
Veterans Transition Center of California and to our programs. And just a shout out to we've got J-Lore, we've got J-Lore Winery that's a sponsor. We also have Puma, and we have Alvarado Street Brewery.
Now, you, I know, you were kind enough to invite me to an event that you did at Pasadena, which was your gala. You get, you never have enough support, but did you get a lot of support from the community and from business?
Well, that was another inaugural event because occasionally they had a gala, but this is our first Hope for Heroes gala that took place on May 11th at Pasadena, and it was an amazing event. And we did raise some funds for the VTC, which was super exciting, but really more importantly is we had some people show up that I didn't really know that they were coming, and so it was great to get out into the community a little bit more and raise some funds for the VTC. It was great to see people there.
There are two things that are done in events like that. There's fundraising and there's brand raising, and they are equally important.
Exactly.
And to get those people there is very important, to get the word out. And fundraising events, unlike war, need to happen annually. Yes. We can do without. Exactly. We don't need war every year, but we certainly need that. Ed Spoon, delight to have you here, my friend. I appreciate it.
Delight.
And you did it without headphones.
Yeah, I don't like anything on my neck or on my ears.
But look at him. He's like Mick Jagger, the way he's holding the mic now. He's flipping the stand around.
Yeah.
He's really a natural. You're both natural.
You just see me walk. I'm kind of acrobatic sometimes when I stub my toe.
I was telling Lisa years ago, I had a guy on before I turned the mic on. He said, let me comb my hair. And I went, you don't really get this, do you?
I love it.
All right. How do they buy tickets? You can buy tickets online.
All right. You can buy tickets online, and you can go directly to our website, vtcofcalifornia.org. You can read about the event, and it's $100 a ticket. 12 and under is free, and we would love to have you come and hang out with us on the 4th of July as we celebrate our freedoms. And the event is called A Celebration of Freedom, benefiting the Veterans Transition Center of California.
Well, God bless you for what you do, and thank you for being here. Quick program note, it's my birthday next Saturday. No, that's not really a program note. But I saw it on the billboard, and I figured I'd point it out. No, I'm taking the day off. I'm going to be home watching the U.S. Open.
I read about it in the paper.
Did you see it?
Funny. I read about it in the newspaper earlier. Yeah.
My idea was to do a video this year and talk about that. I'm not going to talk about my age anymore, and that it's not important, and on and on and on. And as I'm saying it, this balloon with the number 72 would float by my face. But I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. As Mickey Mantle said, if I knew I was going to live this long, I would have taken much better care of myself. Coming up on the 22nd, Mickey Sanders, a fascinating author that we hope to have in studio. We're moving to new studios, right? Is that the deal?
Yeah.
When's that? A couple
16th.
weeks? 16th? Okay. All right. I'm glad. Somebody sent me the address so I know what's going on.
Yeah, you know where to go.
Got Dr. John coming back on the 29th. Adam Joseph, who's a writer, who's doing a thing on Ramblin' Jack Elliott. We'll talk to the people, I think, on the 6th of July, a group my wife's working with, the Valley Health Associates, that works with opioids and alcoholism. And, why do I have all this all of a sudden? It's me. They figured that's, you know what show you want to be on. We'll talk to some folks from Koombah on the 13th, and we got a full summer planned.
That's great.
Have I stalled long enough?
You've got like another minute.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah,
you're kidding.
I'm serious.
All right.
VTCofCalifornia.org. Please.
Go ahead.
You were mentioning bucket lists. I mean, if I were to really be selfish on that, I would really like to share some of my experiences in a book.
That's a great idea.
You know,
yeah,
and you know, maybe a little travel.
Oh,
I mean, to be selfish.
I'll tell you. Go ahead.
Just really quickly. So, I don't know if you want to write it, depending on how you want to do it. But when I was at Cal State Monterey, they have a really cool intern program for all of those different departments, and I betcha there is a real cool student there who might want to do some writing with you. It'd just be cool to write, you know, to have like all of your stories, your thoughts, all of that. And then, you know, have somebody kind of, I mean, shoot, it's just it's a neat program.
Well,
so that's how I started here.
I think
that's how I got to the radio station was through Monterey.
I think the other thing you guys should consider at the Transition Center is doing a podcast. And having veterans
that
on
would
that.
Be awesome.
Everybody and his brother's doing one.
Another good Cal State Monterey.
And it's funny, I was talking to a friend of mine whose mom is in her 90s, and, you know, she's getting into hospice. And I said, you know, you got to do an oral history. You got to get a video camera, you know, and sit and chat and ask questions. Like, and we, all of us, it would have been so valuable for our, you know, for our parents.
We all have such stories.
Yeah, everybody's got stories. And most of my stories would have to be published posthumously, but still, I could. Well, the statute of limitations is gone. Have I stalled long enough?
Yeah, you're good.
All right.
Yeah, you're good.
The A train is on its way in. We're on our way out. A big thank you to Ed Spoon and Lisa Kincaid. As always, this show is. And for you. Until next Saturday, that's my birthday, the Saturday after, when we once again raise the standards. I'm Jacoby. I'll see you soon.
should take a train. You get to where you're going in a hurry. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Now it's coming. Can't you hear the rails are humming? If you should miss